Hello and welcome to the Redmen TV. It is the Red Mention show after Liverpool won a game of football. Yes, Liverpool won an actual game of Premier League football. Never mind that they were bottom of the table. Liverpool won a game of football. We're going to start off with the tweets. This isn't a reply to us, but it is the captain who just said, "Great away win. Well done, lads," which is lovely to see, isn't it, from the captain, Jordan Henderson there. We had to work hard for that win, we really did, but we dug it out. I didn't think the first half performance was particularly great. We did create opportunities, and we go into that second half, and we then get 2 goals, which is absolutely superb. Monners on Twitter, we fucking won a football match, which is glorious, isn't it? Abdismad Suldan, we're going to miss Gini, my man of the match today, and a lot of talk on Twitter about how good Gino Wijnaldum was today. You know, we see him a lot turning up in that defensive sense, but also in the build-up to Kurt Jones' goal. I mean, he's there and he's setting the line. He's saying you're not getting past this point and stuff like that. And a good display from Gino Wijnaldum, I thought, today. And I don't think I'd have given him man of the match personally, Abdismad, but I can understand why people have given him, like yourself, of man of the match. I think Kurt Jones for me was probably the one. Obviously, he gets that first goal, doesn't he? It's an important first goal, and I do love the fact that Kurt Jones obviously then said that goal was for Alisson's dad, which I thought was a real touch of class from such a young lad as well. He said that post-match, if you've not seen it yet. The next tweet then that we've got coming in is from @English_Foo. A lot better. Phillips deserves more credit. I thought Phillips was really good today. I completely agree with you there, mate. Phillips stood up to everything that they threw at them, and I know that, you know, they kind of played into his hands a little bit because he's really good in the air, but Phillips again, like he has done every single time he's pulled on that red shirt this season, has stepped up. He's not beating himself, and he's doing the simple things well, and I think when you're in a bit of a defensive crisis like we are with players that are available, you need someone you can trust, and I think Liverpool can certainly trust Nat Phillips in a defensive sense. We know what he's like, we know what he's capable of, but in a defensive sense he's really, really good, and I think you're right, he probably does need a little bit more credit tonight. Oscar LFC04, Firmino scored an Adrian clean sheet. Speaks for itself, really. It does, it really, really does. I'm going to head over to some of their YouTube comments and stuff as well, because I think it's important that we get over there. So I'm just going to pull this chat out right now. I'm going to go right back to the beginning of this, because I have some really interesting ones, actually. In fact, the Invader 97 said, Curtis Jones, this goal is for Ali's dad, rest in peace, which, again, nice touch from Curtis there, as you can see. Charles Joseph, one of our YouTube members, says, well needed, vital win now, 3 points against Chelsea, and we'll be back in town. It's such a pivotal game, I think, for Liverpool's hopes of top 4, this game against Chelsea, because I think, like most Liverpool fans, I certainly believe that, you know, Chelsea are going to be the ones there at the end of the season. I know West Ham are playing well, and not to give them any lack of respect, or not to give them enough respect, but I do feel like they will tail off at some point. Chelsea are the one with the big squad, and they're obviously the ones that we come up against next. So yeah, it'd be really great and amazing if we can get a victory over them, because I think Tuchel's obviously got them, you know, playing well at the moment, to be honest with you. Imran, Adam, Imi, is that Imi? I hope it's Imi. Chris, amazing what an LFC win does to your own personal happiness. I'm actually smiling. You'll never walk alone. I'm with you on that one, mate. I think, you know, at half-time I was in such a sour mood, like, and Paul Ross got the brunt of that, like, but, you know, I was fed up of seeing the same thing over and over, but Liverpool managed to dig that one out in the second half, and, you know, Kurt Jones getting into a good area, Trent Alexander-Arnold not giving that ball up, you know, the work that he had to do in getting that ball back. I think VAR, I thought at one point that was going to be ruled offside. There was a view where I thought it's over the line, what are they going to do? They're definitely going to rule it out, and then we saw one more where you can clearly see it wasn't over the line, and I still thought then, to be honest with you, the VAR might have something to say about it, but they didn't, thankfully. Edward Andre Reddle says, nice to have a smile on a Sunday evening, isn't it just? Charles Joseph again, Kabak and Phillips look shaky under the long balls, but one-on-one defending was good. Kabak was an interesting one for me today, Charles, because I think his defending from behind was really good. I mean, there was a couple of times that ball over the top, and, you know, he gets there and makes a good challenge and gets the ball out for a corner, and, you know, his reading of the game was a little bit better today, I felt. We didn't see that, you know, and then they're not blessed with massive pace up front, but he didn't look slow today, so that was nice to see. And Amy just says, yes, it is, it's me, thank you very much. Amy, I hope you're all right, mate. It's been a long time since we've seen you outside Anfield. Klopp looks so happy, that makes me happy. Indeed, it does. Fulham's man of the match has to be Jones as well, from Charles Joseph. Genie is man of the match for me, says Kunal J, which is cool. I'm going to head back over to some of the Twitter comments and stuff then as well, if I possibly can. Let's have a little look at that one. Let's see, where are we? Twitter comments, here we go. Liam Cold, we definitely benefited from 4 defenders playing in defence. Midfield was solid. I'd put Fabinho in the midfield role, protecting Kabak and Phillips. Also, is it the same fans romanticising about Gerrard being our next manager that thought Brewster was actually good enough for Liverpool? A lot to unpick from this one, Liam. I think we did kind of benefit from playing the 4 defenders in the defence, and yeah, I thought Kabak and Phillips as a pair, they did okay. Now, if they were to play against Chelsea, would I really trust the 2 of them? Tough one to answer that, because, you know, we know what Chelsea have got up front, and, you know, whether it's Giroud or it's Tammy Abraham or it's Timo Werner, they've all got different things, and Giroud tends to play against us, doesn't he, and tends to play really well against us. But you'd imagine Giroud are probably a better fit for the 2 defenders that we might have available, actually. Whereas the pace of a Tammy Abraham or a Timo Werner might cause us a little bit of trouble. Certainly, if we're going to play a high line as well, they'd be looking to get in behind. But let's not get away from the game tonight either, because Kabak and Phillips did what they needed to do. Clean sheet with Adrian behind them. That's brilliant, isn't it? The Gerrard thing, I mean, I'm not romanticising personally about Gerrard being I am about him being our next manager, but I do think that's a few years off, and I hope that's a few years off, because Jurgen Klopp isn't done at Liverpool Football Club. He's not won the trophies that he wants to win. He's not won all the trophies that he wants to win, because I'm sure he wants another Premier League. I'm sure he wants another European Cup and stuff, and certainly the Premier League ain't coming this year, which means he's going to have to be here next year to get that. At Singh is LFC. I never want to see Hendo or Fab at centre-back. If we have 2 available, play them. And I suppose that's something that Liam was talking about as well, isn't it? About playing Fabinho to protect Kabak and Phillips. And I hope that that's what Jurgen does. I mean, there are going to be situations, maybe if it is a Werner or an Abraham against Chelsea, where Fabinho and his reading of the game and his pace might be beneficial to us. But in these types of games, I'd prefer to see a Fabinho sat in front of them. But yeah, if we've got 2 centre-backs available, then our midfield should be better for having Fabinho in there. And that means you can rest some of the midfielders and stuff as well. So David Smith, not the cleanest win, but a start. Hopefully we can build on this, unlike after the Tottenham and West Ham victories. That will be massively important for me. I think Liverpool need to build on this now. And we've had too many false dawns this season, haven't we? And I don't think our problems are behind us, if I'm being honest with you, because, you know, I still think we're going to struggle in games where we're coming up against high quality opposition that are in form, because right now, you know, Liverpool are struggling to put an 11 out that's really good enough to beat top 4. I mean, look, I don't know enough about Kabak yet to be able to tell you what his ceiling is as a Liverpool player, and I know Phillips has been playing really well, but is he good enough to be a centre-back in a top 4 side in the Premier League? I'd hazard a guess is no, and that's not to say that he can't play well and he can't perform, but consistency and being world class is consistency over a long period of time, and Liverpool are going to struggle while they don't have the defenders for me. But a win's a win, and that's the important thing. We've got the 3 points and we've got a platform to build from again. We can't waste that this time, and we know it's going to be a tough game against Chelsea. Brian Glow says, Chris, do you think that Fab will come in at centre-back or as a DM against Chelsea? I'd guess that he'd come in at centre-back, to be honest with you, because he's had more games at centre-half than probably all the others have. Even, you know, Phillips has played centre-back for a long time, and he's played in Liverpool's backline a few times this season now, but I still think Fabinho's I think I'm probably right in saying he's still played there more often than Phillips. So yeah, I'd imagine that he'll be there. Charles Joseph, Chris, will Jota and Fab be back for Chelsea game? I'm not sure on the Jota one, because obviously it was an illness today, and I mentioned during the live stream that, you know, it could be appendicitis or something like that. So I've no idea what that would mean for Diogo Jota, but it's just Liverpool's luck, isn't it? That he gets back into training and then he falls ill. And again, it is just a rumour about the appendicitis and stuff like that. But Liverpool's front 3 needs freshening up. I know Bobby scores tonight and he was involved heavily, and, you know, in a creative sense, he was all right today. You know, he had a couple of opportunities where he definitely should have done better, but, you know, you can't fault his work rate. He was trying each and every time. A lovely little flick ball over the top for Mo Salah at one point to run on to. It's a good save by Ramsdale, and he was at the heart of most of the stuff that Liverpool did well in the first half. And But Mane's looking a little bit tired now, and there was a laboured run in the second half there, I thought. And I don't know whether it's tiredness or he may be carrying a knock or something. But Salah can't do this on his own, although he has been carrying the front three so far this season. We do need some fresh legs in there for me anyway. Echam Ul Hassan. Chris, when Jota comes back, do you think we go to a 4-2-3-1 and push the front three back? I'm not sure, mate, to be honest with you. I mean, I'd love to see it where, maybe Bobby Firmino is just given that number 10 role for a bit. See how he does in it. It's a position that he's played a lot during his career, maybe not all the time for Liverpool. He's been that false nine for a few years now, but we know before he came to Liverpool he was that number 10 role, so I'm sure he could pick it up fairly quickly. And then could you have Diogo, could you have Mane, and could you have Salah all playing ahead of him? I don't know. I'd like to see it if we're struggling for goals, and maybe make them worry about us a little bit more, but who knows. Chris, Steve has a contract until 24. I'm feeling he'll sign an extension. I think he understands the importance of learning his trade properly, says Dickie Red. It's interesting, isn't it? Because Gerrard's contract and Klopp's contract run out on the same day, don't they? Which is always a little bit interesting. So is Fab definitely back for Chelsea, says Sabin? I'm not sure, to be honest with you. We know he's been in training one day. I think Milner's been in training one day as well, but yet he made the bench. Fabinho, probably because his injury was a bit longer, he'd need at least 2 or 3 training sessions with the first team to be able to be available for the game against Chelsea. I'm sure because it is Chelsea, because it's such a pivotal game in our hopes for top 4 this season, that he probably will be rushed in some capacity. And if it is being rushed in, then I imagine he'll be centre-back rather than centre midfielder as well. Because obviously you're just not doing the running in centre-back as you are in centre midfield. So yeah. Jota is the second coming of Ronaldo. Yes, love that. Don't feed the conspiracies, Chris. Sorry, Dickie. Apologies, mate. Robertson played a bit higher than usual tonight and never really dropped back too deep, but it benefited us against the back fives. There's pretty much always another option on the left flank. Left flank says FPL skills. That's true, actually, isn't it? First half, certainly, I think I mentioned it once during comms how high Robertson was. And, it's been last couple of games, it's been Trent pushing higher on the right-hand side, but it was nice to see Robbo push a little bit higher on that left-hand side. I feel like that left-hand side's not quite working like it used to, though. We saw a lot of Robertson playing it to Kurt Jones or maybe Wijnaldum. Not a lot of Robertson and Mane interlinking tonight, which is when they're on fire, the two of them, that's what they do a lot of. So it'll be interesting to see whether Mane is carrying a knock or is he just out of form? I'm not sure at the moment. Fran Dowling, Chris, a lot better tonight, moved the ball quicker. I think Chelsea will have a lot of the ball. Counter-attack might be our best bet. That's an interesting one, actually, isn't it? They do like possession, Chelsea Football Club, as do Liverpool. And there's an ego that I like about Liverpool, though, where we do just continue to take the ball off teams, because Chelsea aren't really that counter-attacking side, are they? They are. Tuchel wants them to be a possession-based side and stuff, so it'll be interesting to see who fights for that ball and who wins that battle. But obviously it's about the result, and the result tonight against Sheffield United was the right result for Liverpool, and 2-0 victory against them tonight, really, really good in that sense. And again, we mentioned it during the video already, but a foundation here, something to give a little bit of confidence to the side. So yeah. Oh, Leon Gary, super chat. Leon, thank you so much, mate. It's been a while since I've spoken to you. Thoughts on Thiago, Chris? I really like him in an attacking sense. I really like him as a player. I just think he exudes skill and confidence and everything else. And I just wonder whether we're not going to see the best of Thiago until we've got our best team on the pitch, because he's going to learn this role, and he's had to learn this role for a midfielder for Liverpool over the last few months. And yeah, I think we'll see the best of him next season and maybe towards the end of this season. But I liked his performance tonight, and he didn't get the ball away a lot, and still a few fouls went against him and whatnot, and still made a few fouls as well. But yeah, I think Thiago, we don't need to worry about Thiago ultimately. Do you think Tuchel versus Klopp will be advertised this huge game with loads of goals, but in reality it'll be a drab 0-0? Probably, mate, probably. But look, we've done well against the other sides in the top 6 for the most part over the last couple of years and stuff, so I expect that to continue against Chelsea, and I know I'll be going in there full of confidence. Hopefully the lads will be going in there full of confidence as well. Anyway, that is Red Mentions. Thank you so much for joining me, Leon. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you to all the members who've got involved, and to everybody who's tweeted us. I'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes with the player rating show, and then I'll be back with Ben Kelly for the instant match reaction. So make sure you check us out. If you're in this chat, you'll automatically be ported over to the player rating, so come and get involved and help me rate Liverpool's players tonight. Ta-ra.
Thank you so much for watching the Redmen TV YouTube channel. Everything we do here is funded by our wonderful subscribers to the redmentv.com. Get over there, sign up and get amazing additional content, interviews, documentaries, mini-series, and of course additional pre and post match day content.